illallahu Muhammad Rasulullah.
One of the things that happened to me personally was that when I signed the bayat to the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam, there was no doubt in my mind that I was doing the right thing. But imagine, and I'm talking about converts, people who revert back to Islam, Ahmadiyya, true Islam. Imagine going home and telling your mother that you have a new name, that your name is no longer Maurice, your name is Munir. Can you imagine the impact that has on a mother who named you herself and chose a name for you, and you tell her you have a better name? Imagine, for instance, a person like myself who was considered as a mama's boy going home to a Baptist mother and telling her that Jesus did not die on the cross. Can you imagine how she felt to hear those words? So much sadness came over her. It was so amazing that we stopped speaking to each other for almost 7 years. 7 years. But not a day went by during those 7 years that I thought for a moment that I had made a mistake in joining the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam. Nothing happens just by chance. Nothing happens just by chance.
Not that they're comfortable in not doing anything, but they're comfortable because I'm watching the situation and, you know, how must I get involved? Right. Boom, something comes on like me. Something like Islam. Ahmadiyya, you had to get involved. You had to not only get involved, you had to declare yourself. You can't just live here and be a Republican, liberal, Democrat. No such thing as that. We won't accept that. This is what the world is generally saying about people. You have to involve yourself. And this is what I like about it. You have to involve yourself. Commitment is essential. That's number one. Regardless whether it's religion or not, it doesn't make any difference. Commitment is important. Don't fool yourself. It's here for you. This is what Islam is about, personally. If every brother and sister can commit themselves and act upon it, not just say, yes, I do, that's nothing. You must commit yourself. This is a must. It's a must. This is a very strong point. So I suggest that people, young people that are coming, look, this is not a club. This is not a hangout. You can benefit from this. Look at it. Give it an honest evaluation. Give it an honest evaluation. Put some sincere effort in it. So I say for anyone, especially the people of America, okay, this is yours. But do something about it. Make some sacrifice for the cause.
My whole activity from my time or my journey was Tabligh. I love it, I do it all the time and been doing it since day one. Tabligh, you know what Tabligh is? Preaching. But if I look around here and what I see, I would think you don't know much about Tabligh, because look at your audience. I mean, this place should be so full to all the parking lots should be full of people. If you had the spirit, you got the truth. Ahmadiyya is truth. Ahmadiyya is the light. Ahmadiyya is guidance. But where are the preachers?
It's about 1979. I went to Rabwa, to the Jalsa. And I was standing outside of the Ansar house. And there was a man, he approached me. And he spoke to me in a language I didn't understand. He was an elderly gentleman. He looked as though he had walked a long distance. And so I asked a translator, what did he say? And he translated what the man said to me. And he said, if I could take my heart out and show it to you, you'd know how much I love you. And it floored me. I mean, I went around crying the rest of the day. And even now I feel it was such a strong expression of brotherhood. And the man had just only met me for the first time. And that's what Ahmadiyya does. It instantly makes you a love of mankind, a love of God first, and a love of mankind, regardless of race, color, or what have you.
So I went into this church, and can you imagine a church twice as big as this, with no more than about 5 or 6 people. And I go in the middle of the church to make a novena. And then a brother come up and touched me on the shoulder and told me I had to go up to the back of the church. And I'm looking at him. I said, what you mean? There's nobody in here. What do you? He said, but you have to go to the back of the church because I'm an Afro-American. So I looked at him and I said to him, I can't believe this. And that turned me off. And then from that point on, I began to look to find something that would satisfy my moral and spiritual being. I was in the street. I was a street person. And the guys I used to hang around with, when I stopped drinking, stopped womanizing, and stopped cheating and running all over the place and staying up half the night and just doing nothing. These guys didn't want to have nothing to do with me because this is what happened. But I was lucky and very fortunate because I had Ahmadiyya families who adopted me. They invited me to their homes for dinner. Their children began to talk with me because they got into sports and things like that. So I bonded with my brothers who already were Ahmadiyya Muslim. And one of the hardest things is in this world, and you won't realize, is to have somebody that you can lean on.
It's the way you conduct yourself. It causes people to first accept what they see in you. They accept what they see in you. If you're not presenting yourself in a way that causes them to accept you, you can't propagate to them successfully. See? They got to see it in your actions. You got a big job. You got a big job to make this community Muslims. Now that's gonna mean you're gonna be working and doing things while others are having what they call a good time. It happened to me. So you're gonna be doing work while they are playing, but you're gonna find that somebody's gonna have to do it.
One of the things of today that we don't do, the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam, asked us to do, and it didn't put any time limit on it or anything, is to pass the handbills and to confront the people not physically, but mentally. And this is what the Promised Messiah, alayhi salatu salam, I understand that he wanted to have that mental confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing, we have to make contributions. It's very important that we contribute to the spread of Ahmadiyya throughout the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you mean financial contribution?
Financial contribution.
Mm.
To save the life of the people from all this killing and wars and starving that's facing the people today.
Mm.
In my opinion, in what I've learned, it can only come through Ahmadiyya, the true Islam. It's black and Pakistani, white, Indian, and all of this, I think should be forgotten about. We dwell on it too much and mix together as human beings and see each other as human beings, and Ahmadiyyas who's trying to win the pledge of Allah and look upon His creation as one. It's all a creation of Allah. A rose is a rose. And we, as Ahmadis, have to show to the world there's no difference.
I came into Ahmadiyya in 1965. You cannot be an Ahmadi without being committed. You can believe in it, you can be born in it, but you have to work with it 100%. It would not be anybody in ranks marching on a village or a town or a city or a country. There will be no dancing in the streets or anything like that. So I would like to read to you exactly what the promised Messiah said that the real victory of Islam is. It's not countries falling under the sway of Ahmadiyya. It starts with every individual here developing taqwa in their lives and collectively developing a community of mutakis. That is what the victory is. Huzur says, the true victory of Islam, as is evident from the word Islam itself, lies in our completely surrendering ourselves to God and freeing ourselves of our egos and our passions, and try to collectively achieve this. Two things are involved here: personal victory and collective victory, and ultimately the victory of Ahmadiyya.
Muhammad Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah.